Hey guys, with the release of English Hololive coming soon, we are doing a series of deck profile for Hololive for you guys. So this deck is the Choice Gate Coroner Marine deck, and let's start with the level zeros. So for level 0, we have 4 of the Aqua Rikis, and if she's in the center slot, she gets 3,000. And when she's sent from the stage to the waiting room, I can pay 1 and clock 1 Hololive character from the waiting room to my bottom clock. Then review the top 2 of my deck and add Hololive characters from the top 2 to my hand. So she's just a really solid starter because she's 3-5 and she can help me fix color at level 1. Very solid card. Then the next card is the 2 Botans. So she only has 1 skill, pay 1, send her from the stage to the memory, and review up to 3 cards from the top of my deck, add any Hololive characters to my hand. So this deck, early play condition is 3 or more cards with different names in memory, so she just there to help with the memory condition and some deck speed in the early game. Next up, we have 4 of this Nene. So she's also part of the memory engine. So the first skill, say when another Hololive character attacks, she gets 1,000 till end of turn, and she has the Sisu effect as well. So when she's reversed during the opponent's turn, I can pay 1 and rest her, but she goes to memory the next encore phase, the start next encore phase. So she basically a free card because memory condition is good, and getting 1 extra card during the early game is really good for me to build stock, and our very solid card. And next we have 2 of this Nene, and so she has a Casimir skill as the first skill. So on play, pay 1, discard any card. Look at the top 3 card of my deck and any card to my hand. But we play her for the second skills. So when she get reversed, if there are 2 or less cards in the memory, she can go to memory. So these 3 cards are part of the memory package, and so really solid cards you can slam down early game without thinking too much about it. And then the next card I play is the Xion Brainstorm. So she is a very special card because she taps out Search Brainstorm and mill 5, but the demerit is you cannot stand her during the stand phase if you have 1 or less clock. So the mill 5 is really nice, and sometimes I need some blue cards in the clock for the Ayama early play, and so she's there. And she has another skill. I can raise one Hololive card to swap 1 chain 2 card from the level and 1 chain 2 card from the waiting room. So sometimes I can use that to fix color in early play condition, though I don't really use it too much. And next up is the 3 Mastery Brainstorms. And then she has 2 skills. The first one is I can tap her, give a card 1,500 to end of turn. And the second skill is tap sale Brainstorm and Salvage Brainstorm. She's yellow, so I need a nice Salvaging Brainstorm is good because I can loop my combos and other stuff. And finally, for the level 0, we have 2 of the Choco Rub Salvage. She has an on play, I can mill 3 cards or not. So that skill really helps when I need certain card in the waiting room so I can salvage them, or I need to speed through my deck. And the second skill is Rub Salvage Pump 1k. So the level 0 allows me to grab almost any card in the waiting room when I need them. And they also help me through my deck, so very solid level 0 lineup. Onto the level 1, we have 4 of the TD Coronet combo. Very solid card. When you play her, she gets 500 times other characters. No, not other, times all the Hololive characters on the field, including herself. So she can generate some okay numbers. And with Mastery, she can go over some other stay my target or anything. And then she has the skill with the Choice Climax on attack. You can keep a card on reverse, she makes a search. So because she can give it to any card, so you can stack them on 1 card. As long as you get 1 on reverse during that turn, then you can search for all the effects. That's why we play her, because nowadays reversing 3 lanes in 1 turn is not something we can do really often anymore. But she can bypass that by giving all the on reverse search on 1 card, so that's why we play her. Next up, we have 2 of this male. So the first skill she has is when I use an act, she gets 1,500 and she gets on attack top check. If that card is a level 1 or higher cards, we can send that card to stock. And then she's it's a yellow card, so she also helped like a level of clock target for our Corona combo, and she goes really well with this counter. So this is a Lifa counter. So because a backup is also an act, so when we use this card on this during the opponent's turn, she also gets a 1,500. So let's say I use this backup on her, she goes from 4,500 to 8k. So like that's like some good number that you can use to deny people on reverse if they don't know what the interaction. Next up, we have two of the Roboco. On play, she can discard one Hololive characters to top check and salvage a card in the wayne room whose carry in the wayne room whose level is equal or lower to the card we review. So basically, like with this card, we know the top check, so we can know what to do with this male card. And since the top, because of this effect, we always guarantee level 0 in the wayne room. So let's say I need any level 0 from the wayne room, this card guarantees it. And also she has another skill on attack, pump 1,500 to some other cards. So again, also goes really well with the Coronet on reverse. And last of the level 1 lineup, we have 3 of this Polka. So she's just a Rammer, so on play you can pay 1, spawn 1 cost 0 card from the wayne room to the field. But that card goes away at the start, the end of the encore phase. So basically, when we use her, we can spawn like a Coronet. Well, since the Coronet is played from her effect, doesn't get the power, we can just use this card to give the on-reverse effect to some other cards. So we can still reuse the effect without even caring about the power. And this card also has the memory condition for the early play. And then, since the deck doesn't play any level 2, we will go right into the level 3 lineups. So at level 3, we have 4 of this Polka. She's the main healer in the early play of this deck. So the condition to early play her is to have 3 cards with different names in memory, hence why we play the memory package. The second skill is if you have 2 or more other Hololive characters on the field, she gets 1,000 continuously, so she always a 10-5. And then I'm playing heal 1, so this card is very solid because as long as you fulfill the memory condition, you can always early play her. Like you can early play 1 or 2, or like if they kill this card and then you can brainstorm salvage it and early play it again. So this card is better than other typical early plays because if you play a 2 or less early play and you cancel, then you might not be able to play that card again. Or if you need you play a 4 more cards early play, you might not be able to play too much because you have to play over 1 card if you want to play 2 of that card in 1 turn. So that's why this card is really solid. Next up, we have 4 of the main feature of the deck, the Marine. So she has on play, I can sack one of my characters, other characters on the field, look at up to 3 cards from my top deck, add 1 card to my hand, 1 to stock, and the rest to waiting room. And so that basically turns her into 3/1 cards. And then her combo is on attack, P1, discard 1 characters, burn 2, and then she gets 2k to end of turn. So since her on play skill gives us a stock in her hand, she basically pays for the combo herself. And because of the top check, we can use her to grab other combo pieces like the another Marine or the Climax. And because she's a 3/1, we can start a turn with 4 stock and you can still triple combo Marine in 1 turn, which is really nice. And due to how consistent she is, like triple playing this card is very common and usually you win the game that turn. Next up, we have one of this AMA. So the first skill is if we have blue and yellow in level, we can early play her, and as long as she's on the field, she's global 1k5. And another skill while we play her is on play, you can do melee or shield effect twice. And so this card removes like some cards on the opponent board, or not hard remove, but like you change them into something else. Let's say they have a body card or any like anti-heal or my soul cards, you can change them away into any other cards. Well, the opponent chooses that, but like you can potentially gives you some side target if you change a level 2 into a level 1 or 0, or you remove like a paw or like a next soul card into any random level 2 or lower. So it's really nice to play her. Next up, we have this Suicide early play. So her card skill is if you have Forma on the field, you can play her at level 2 without any color restriction. So the nice thing is like she doesn't need any color restriction. So You can play her anytime without caring about color, and she's a stock heal. So it's a 9 touch, unlike the healing effects. So let's say you have 2 of these and you want to heal more to like, you want to like stay more level 2, you can play 2 of these or 1 of this, or any like combination like these 2, or just her, in case you don't really fulfill the memory condition. Anyway, like to say, just a good card to take in almost any deck, unless like you play Kanata or Russia. Next up, we have one of the Watame early play. So you have 4 more other characters on the field, you can early play her, and when you play her, you can review the top card of your deck. If the card is a whole like character, you can send one of your opponent's card in the front row to the bottom deck. So this is the hard removal we play. So sometimes I consider removing the IMF for this one because the early play condition of this card is easier and it's a hard removal. Even though it requires a top check, we have the 1-0 joke Robocode to do that, so it's not like really hard to do. And then she's yellow, so she also helps with the color. And the last card of the deck is the Mastery Stock Swap. On play, pay 1 Stock Swap, and when I use the max, she gets 1k per other characters on the field. So in this deck, you don't really use a Stock Swap because the Marine usually end the games already, and you want to save the stock for Marine. But in case the opponent is really compressed, you can still pay the cost for this one. And she Marine is so stock efficient. If you have like don't have that many stock, you can still like double Marine into 1 Mastery Brain Stock Swap. So that's really cool. And since the Climax lineup is a choice indoor, you can always get almost any pieces during the game with the door, and then you build stock with Coronet, so you can pay for your memory engine. And then you can use any of these to craft the Marine, so you can triple combo later on. So the deck is really solid because you don't really have to think too much about the level 3, because 1 or 2 Marine and then 4 stock is already enough to triple Marine in a level 3 turn. So you can use the resources for like your early game, your mid game to build up stock and compression. In the end, like this deck is really nice, though the only downside is like we cannot really afford to play the Red Scouter because that would decrease our hand size a lot. And so this deck is not really made for that, but otherwise this deck is really solid. Alright, thank you for watching the video.